Hey, welcome back to the show. I am Mr.Mubz.
I'm the Rawdogg.
We are the wrestling wise guys. Oh my god. That's gonna get a little bit hard to say sometimes, but I think I kinda like it, don't you?
Oh yeah, I kind of like it too.
Well, this is our without further ado, this is our not really deep dive into the Royal Rumble 1999, but this is just kind of our take on every match and what we thought of it.
Good buddy.
So, Mr. Rawdogg, you want to start us off?
Oh yeah, the first match was between the Big Boss Man and the Rawdogg on that in that year.
Now it was the Boss Man was one half of the World Tag Team Champion,
Right.
and then Road
Dog.
Dogg was the Hardcore Champion,
Right.
but no title was on the line.
But people wanted them to kind of the wrestle like it was on the line or be like a hardcore match, but it was not. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, I feel like the hardcore stipulation would have favored the corporation back then more than it would Road Dogg, because people would have interfered.
Oh yeah, and I could still see Big Boss Man pulling out his handcuffs, cuffing him to the rope and beating him with his nightclub, his nightstick. My bad.
Anyway, at one point, Road Dogg gets an advantage of Big Boss Man and starts hanging his grapefruits out to dry, is what I'm going to call it. And King's like, well, that's a little hardcore.
Yeah.
One little side note, I cannot figure out why Jerry Lawler was always for the heels. Like, he was a heel commentator. He voted for Big Boss Man and other heels throughout the night. But I think he was a heel, as a wrestler. So.
Yeah. Somewhat.
And then after a little bit, Big Boss Man got the upper hand again, and he won with the sidewalk slam.
Well, the Big Boss Man kind of bullied him around there for a lot of the rounds. A lot of it of the match. I mean, because back then Big Boss Man was he big boy. Even though he slimmed down then, I like the new look on him. He went from the blue cop shirt to the technical vest he had on. Like I said, he had his handcuffs in there. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match. And of course, the Big Boss Man won, so that's who I favored. I like the Big Boss Man. I always have.
I've always been a babyface guy, but so naturally I was rooting for Road Dogg. I almost called him Raw Dog, but
no relations.
No relations. But so anyway, so that was the first match, and then it was, let's see, Mr. Ass versus Ken Shamrock for the Intercontinental title.
Yes, sir.
And the little promo package leading up to the thing of them fighting was Mr. Ass was like showing his keister to his sister, what was his sister.
Yeah.
And it made me think back, and I'm like, damn, have we came a long way from that era.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like, man, if you show like a part of your leg or knee or something, is a sin. Anyway, long story short, the build-up was basically him mooning her sister, or his sister,
yeah, there you go.
to get them into an intercontinental match for the championship.
Yep.
And then, so it's like they get into tussling, and then, ref gets knocked down at crucial point in match, cliche. And then I guess Val Venus started gyrating towards their sister, maybe, or to Ken Shamrock's sister.
Yeah.
Like the week previous or something. So ref gets knocked down. Ref takes a bump. Val Venus runs out and plants Ken Shamrock with a DDT.
Yep.
And then Billy Gunn like slowly crawls over and gets in the cover. Of course,
the referee's still a little groggy, but
he eventually gets over there.
Yeah,
and it's a 2 count.
Yeah,
and then basically the end of the match is Billy Gunn jumps off the top rope, misses a double axe handle, really selling that ankle because he fell on it awkwardly, and then the week prior, Ken Shamrock had him in a ankle lock. So then if you can imagine Ken Shamrock getting those big beady eyes and like twisting on his ankle now at this point. And Billy Gunn has no choice but to tap out.
Yeah.
And so still, you're Intercontinental Champion, Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock.
And I like the flow of this pay-per-view, but this next match kind of got me confused. And that was Gangrel versus XPac for the European Championship.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird one,
Not because of the two that were doing it. I don't know if the chemistry was just off or what, but like it was like at one point they
either botched the move or the count. But anyway, Gangrel won the belt on a 3 count, but they didn't count it for whatever reason. I mean, they didn't stop. They kept going, but it was like, okay, that was a 3 count, but whatever.
Right. And then it was like he did a cross body or something off the top rope.
Yeah.
And XPac and Gangrel's legs became intertwined.
Yeah.
And then the announcers are so funny because at this point they're like, it was a 2 count. And Jerry Lawler's like, no, it was 3.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were confused. They were trying to cover it up too, but in the end, Gangrel gets bounced off the ropes, and I think he tries to go for something, and X-Pac counters it into the X Factor, and throws his arm over him. 1, 2, 3. X-Pac still your European champion. Now, I'm very forgetful. What was the next match?
I think it was the women's match.
It was the women's strap match.
Yeah.
Between Sable and Luna.
Sable had a week before then had gotten into a scuffle with Luna, and Luna had hurt her back, and then she was supposedly, being seen by a doctor, and they was gonna make her forfeit and turn the belt over, but Sable came out to fight, so they fought.
And they showed like a little promo package.
Yeah.
Actually it was like Sunday Night Heat. That was when they still had Sunday Night Heat.
Right, yeah.
And it was like the little hour before the pay-per-view started.
Yeah.
So it was like from 6 to 7. And I guess Luna came out there and just started beating the shit out of her.
Yeah.
I don't really know as far as that goes, what happened. But anyway, at one point Shane McMahon gets up on there and gets the ref distracted.
Yeah.
And then a fan jumps the rails
and
just starts, I'm assuming, whipping the holy crap out of Luna.
Well, she did. She hits her because it's a strap match, but you have to touch all 4 turnbuckles to win. And
who come up with that logic?
That's a good question.
I mean, it's a good logic. Don't get me wrong, and I've seen it done in WCW too.
Right, yeah, but that's what it was. And as Luna had wrapped the strap around Sable's and
was it
throat and was carrying her from the back to back, and she was carrying and she was touching all the turnbuckles, but Luna didn't realize that
Sable was touching them too.
Was touching them too every time because she's on her back and she was looking forward.
Right.
And when they got to the 4th one, Sable somehow got free and was trying to get to the 4th one and go over and touch it. I guess it's when Luna kind of realized what was going on. And then Shane jumped up her and started pulling distractions. And then one of the fans that had been attacking, I guess, Luna for weeks now.
Yeah, I'm assuming, yeah.
It came in. You heard me say fan. That's what they
that's how they explained it.
Yeah, it was a fan. and she comes in, she just clocks her in the head, and Sable goes over and touch the fourth turnbuckle and retains the women's championship, and that's how that match ended. With a whole lot of Luna getting her butt whipped with a strap, which was kind of sexy.
So let's see. We're already to the Rock and Mankind.
Mankind, yeah.
My God, this pay-per-view was short.
Short, yes, it was. That's just what I said too. And I was like, dude, this is like a.
I was like, we're gonna really have to stretch this Mankind Rock match out or something.
Buddy.
Anyway,
but there's a lot of memorable moments in that one because that was the I Quit match.
Yeah, that was the I Quit match, and then the following year, him and Triple H had a banger in that street fight.
Yeah.
With the thumbtacks and stuff. Anyway, we may talk about that in another episode. So Rock comes out, Mankind comes out, and I mean they just start beating the holy crap out of each other. I mean anything you can think of.
In the beginning, the Mankind was banging the Rock in the head there, the microphone, which was funny. I'm sorry.
Outside the ring, he's like, "Do you quit?" So what did he say? Something about
he's gonna whip his fat ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna whip your fat ass. And then he hit him with a microphone. And then at one point they get
Socko in it.
they do. He gets Socko in part of the mouth.
Yeah, and they thought it was over right then, but you know.
And then let's see. They start to fight up the rampway, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And this is where it starts getting a little bit better. I mean, not that it wasn't better before, but so they start fighting up the rampway, and The Rock pulls out a ladder, and I'll never forget it. Jerry Lawler, I love Jerry Lawler to death. He's like, I guess it's a ladder match now.
Yeah, he sure did.
And then somehow it gets, I guess Mankind knocks the ladder back into The Rock.
Yeah.
And The Rock falls down, and all you see is, Mankind stupid and crazy. And he's going to jump on the ladder, and The Rock sort of moved, I guess.
Well, he moved, but his legs got caught.
Right. His legs were kind of caught underneath the ladder. But we'll say it was a partial reversal.
Yeah.
Anywho, match progresses. We get to a point where something horrible is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're climbing up into the crowd with the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And you see The Rock jump over like the barricade and tells these people to move out of the way. And just gives Mankind the stiffest punch I've ever seen. He falls off into this electrical equipment. All you see is these sparks going up. And the freaking system is just... They lose lights for a minute. Like, obviously... Back in the day when I was watching it, I was like, that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
But obviously it was.
Yeah.
And then he gets the microphone again, and he's like, you're going to quit. And he holds it up to him, and he's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
and they just keep going and going. They finally get back in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Mankind's crawling to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Rock's carrying, trying to grab his hair and get him up.
Mm-hmm.
Throws him in the ring. And what's he do? He goes and gets
handcuffs.
Oh my God. Praise Jesus. Somebody's getting handcuffed.
Yeah, buddy, at this point, it ain't looking too good.
and at this point, it's not looking too good for Mankind.
No.
And he gets the handcuffs, and he handcuffs him
behind his back.
And at this point, you're probably thinking, this is where CTE comes from. This is where CTE comes from.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't. I mean, if you've ever seen the documentary Behind the Mat, it will show that match behind the curtain. Mm-hmm. And his wife and his kids, once Mankind started getting hit by that chair so many times, they left. They went to the back. They weren't going to watch no more. But anyway,
but before that happened, the Mankind did fight him. He did with no hands.
Yeah, I think he even headbutted him in the dick.
He headbutted him. He stomped him pretty good. But then eventually out come the chair.
And he must have hit him 15, 20 times. And he starts bleeding, and that wasn't supposed to happen. The blood wasn't, because it was in the top of his head.
Right.
It wasn't like here.
Right.
And after seeing that, and I mean, he just whips the hell out of him with a chair. Whips the hell out of him with a chair. They finally go back up the rampway, hits him like 2 or 3 more times with the chair, and then he. Let me back up for a minute. Before they get out of the ring, you hear Mankind. You hear The Rock be like, "Your monkey ass says you quit," and all you hear Mankind say is, "You're gonna have to kill me first." And at that point, the announcers are like, "Oh my God, did you hear what he said?"
Yeah.
And like that just sucks you in more. Like
it did.
And anyway,
because Mankind wasn't trying to quit for he wasn't hearing that. I'm not quitting. He don't quit. It's Mankind.
Well, he don't quit.
Because they kind of brought that up was that in the pre-fight that he don't quit, and they gave you the fight with him in that awesome fight, the barbed wire fight he had with Terry Funk, which was brutal. Of course, they tried to pull a lot of that fight with Undertaker when he threw him off the cage and he went on the table. Wasn't nothing like that at barbed wire fight. That was just all kind of crazy. But anyway, that's what they was bringing up that, and he don't quit.
Right, he doesn't.
Like he keeps going regardless. You know what I'm saying? Even when it does get off script, because like when he went through the cage, that wasn't kind of supposed to happen like that.
He was supposed to go through the table. He wasn't supposed to go through the cage.
Yeah.
The hell in a cell.
And when you hear, I remember hearing the interview with Undertaker. He's like, when he went through the cage, it was like we kind of gave each other that look. We kind and I was like, "Are you good to keep going?" He was like, "Yeah, man." And we gave me that like he gave him that signal, and they went on. I was like, dude, if I'd have fell through that damn cage, I'd have laid there. Because that wasn't supposed to happen. I don't even know how he even braced for that fall. Because it wasn't an instant. It was like a delay, and he's like, boom, and he went through, and I was like, oh, Lord. And when he smacked the ring, it was like, okay.
I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Is the man okay? I thought they was going to call the match right then. Like, honestly, you know what? Nah, it's over. But they didn't. He finished his, when he came in, he said a match that he couldn't lose and The Rock couldn't win.
But anyway, back to the match. We get up the rampway, and he hits him 2 or 3 more times. He falls face first. He's still handcuffed behind his back.
Yep.
So he falls face first, and The Rock says one more thing, and he's like, "Mankind, your monkey ass says you quit." And then he holds it up to his face.
To his face. Man, it's obvious that Mankind's unconscious at this point.
Yes.
Like, he's out of it. He's not in this world. He's not in this realm.
And then they play a recorded I quit. That's my best Mankind impression. I'm sorry, y'all. But and then it's over, and then your boy being like, I don't know, let's see. Your boy being about 10, 11, like crying, because I hated The Rock at that time because he's corporate.
I love The Rock.
And like Mankind was my dude. I love Mankind. I love Mick Foley. I love Cactus Jack. But anywho, so The Rock is your new WWF champion at the time. I don't know if you got to bleep the F out, but
yes, The Rock.
The Rock. Anywho, so you got your new Rock, your new champion, new Rock.
Yeah.
And then now we finally get to the Royal Rumble match where Vince McMahon says, Stone Cold, has no chance in hell. Stone Cold comes out first. Vince McMahon comes out second.
Remember, though, note that Vince McMahon had put a bounty out on if anybody throws him out, $100,000.
And so at this point, you're really pulling for Austin to win, or at least I was.
You really were. You really are.
Yeah, at this point, I was.
I'm a Rock fan. I'm a McMahon fan.
Right. So, but anyway,
any of them.
So poor Golga comes out third.
He did it.
Poor Golga comes out third, which I think they were just trying to make fun of South Park, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Golga comes out and I don't know, he gets a flutter of offense in on Austin while Austin's giving Vince the Lou Thez press.
Yeah.
And then you see Golga whip Stone Cold and then Stone Cold reverse it. And then, like, 3 seconds later, Golga's gone. And then what happens while that's happening is Vince rolls out of the ring and starts running through the crowd. While Austin sees him, he's like, well, I'm going to beeline it for Vince because that's who I want to beat the hell out of.
He's going to catch his 316 ass whooping.
Anywho, so while that's going on, Draws comes out next.
Yes.
And then, so he's just kind of like, where the hell are my competitors? Why am I here if I don't have any competition?
Right.
And then you get a cut of a camera backstage where Vince McMahon and Austin are just whipping the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
And then Vince finally gets the upper hand, or no, Vince starts to run away into the women's, I'm going to call it bathroom.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing I know that's what I think it is. And then the corporation just starts whipping the hell.
Yeah.
And so Austin, long story short, gets loaded up in the ambulance and gets taken away. And I don't know what Vince was doing. Maybe he had to take a pee or something because we didn't see him for, another half of the Rumble?
Yeah, and it was as a commentary.
Yeah. He said on commentary. And then, to kind of fast forward through it a little bit.
There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There was a lot of eliminations due to certain people coming in. Like when Kane came in, he cleared the ring. Somebody else that came in and cleared the ring.
And then it was like Kane eliminated himself because those psych ward people came in. And so then he was chasing them psych ward people out. So Kane technically eliminated 3 or 4 people and then eliminated himself.
Yeah.
I wonder if he counts as an elimination.
Yeah,
like for his record.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I've always wondered that. Anyway,
that's one of the ones that came in and cleared the ring out.
And then Rawdogg was clearing people out.
Rawdogg did too. And then of course Viscera came in and cleared out a lot of people. But then the Ministry of Darkness came in and was like, they want him, so they beat him. They
beat him over the top.
Then he just kind of just walked, got beat all the way back to the back. I was like, okay.
Which is funny because if you watch that back a little bit, Farouk slips and falls. Which the Undertaker comes out and is like, Viscera, I'm going to need you to join the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah.
And Viscera's just like, okay, you can beat me up, and I'll go to the back willingly.
Yeah.
And then Percy Pringle with his dick. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, so that happens, and then we basically get down to it's Vince McMahon and Stone Cold again. And it's the first two that started. And what exactly happens? Because I know there was a distraction.
The Rock comes out, Vince McMahon, and shows him the belt and tells him that he can't win because, of course, if he wins, he gets a title shot. So Rock comes out and then, Stone Cold's like, you bring your butt in here, we can do this right now. I'll stomp your lights out right now. So Rock, is telling him that, he can't win and Stone Cold just keep telling you, come in here again, people call him a pussy. And I guess, eventually The Rock had enough of that. He jumps on the ring apron, and then he starts to try to fight Stone Cold. Somehow at this point in time, as soon, I swear, it's choreographed at that point, because as soon as The Rock hit that apron, McMahon he just happens to hop to his feet slowly in groggy land and just runs over instantly, and then not by the tights, he pushes him, and where he's wrestling with The Rock, he just falls over on the outside of the ring, and then there you have it. You're a champ. You're the Royal Rumble winner, Vince McMahon. And I'm like, get the out of here, bro. Like,
I cried for the next 3 days. I'm like, really? Anybody but Vince? I would have took Rawdogg. I would have took China.
Yeah.
That would have been an awesome main event. Rock versus China.
Yeah, it would have. But China last, who did China eliminate?
She eliminated Mark Henry.
That's what it was.
Stone Cold
knocked her out of clothesline and said, wang. Yeah. And then Mark laughed at it. He said, I'm sorry, y'all.
But, and then, Vince McMahon at the end of the pay-per-view, bashing beers together and throwing them back. And the stupid Stooges come out. And I'm sure Shane came out too.
Yeah.
And
don't know why Shane come out. He's reading Stone Cold's back.
I guess.
Remember, Stone Cold, you're fired. And Dad, I'm the one that hired him back. And then this new contract, he gets at least one title shot. It always started. Because before then, y'all's a little story on that. Before building up to the Royal Rumble, he had to, A, get hard back. B, win a Buried Alive match against Undertaker, which, that's badass in itself. You beat Undertaker to me, sacrilege, because it just shouldn't happen. But
exactly,
it did. So he did everything he did to get his rematch, because when he lost it to Kane and Undertaker with a double choke slam.
I know. Who the hell was the champion? Did they share the belt?
No, Vince took it.
Vince just took it.
He took the belt. I guess because they both won. They both pinned him.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things. Well, we can't give it to either one because they both pinned him. So he just took the belt, and that's where all that came through. And you know how he had the guard watch him, and Stone Cold wasn't supposed to touch him. And you know how Stone Cold is hearing crap, so he.
Well, going back to those two pinning Stone Cold, I thought it was going to go down to like a Lay Cool situation where they just split the belt in half, and just gave each half a piece of the championship. Come on, you can't tell me you don't remember Lay Cool.
Yeah, I remember,
And you remember them splitting the women's championship down the middle, and it was half and half. All right, guys. Well, that's been our not so deep dive into Royal Rumble 1999. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Tell us down in the comments, hey, what you want us to deep dive into next, or the not so deep dive into. And I've been Mr.Mubz.
And I'm Rawdogg.
And just a shameless plug, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's Goofy Wrestling Nuts. It's Goofy Wrestling Nuts. And we stream games, we talk about wrestling, and you might just learn how to make toast. Anyway, I've been Mr.Mubz.
And I'm the Rawdogg.
And you've been listening to the Wrestling Wise Guys.
Until next time.
Peace.